All right, I'll have you guys check the audio for me whenever it starts up. Again, we are eating some salsa while we watch. That was a lot of salsa. Holy. And there's like little pieces of pineapple in this salsa too. It's kind of OP. Everyone, make sure your Jorkin is ready. Everyone, make sure your Jorkins are ready. Ready to swipe $500 in the first week with me? What do you mean, bro? We're only gonna play for 4 days. I'm down. What does Jorkin mean? Do you not have 7TV? Go install 7TV emotes and you'll know. Or you can see it over there. You can see it in the way you can't see it in the kind of one. Yeah, you can. Here. There's my Jorkin with 7TV.
Welcome everyone to the
Okay.
Torchlight Sandlord season preview. I'm Andre, your community manager.
Andre, you need to get a better mic, bro.
Season brought some big shifts to the game.
What in the dog shit is this?
Sandlord season, we're building on that foundation without reinventing the wheel. We're mostly focused on improving some core in-game systems.
Is it my
adding
earbuds?
Significant new layers for build customization and gameplay variety. Plus, all of this is launching with our 2nd year anniversary, so you can expect some very special events. Now, without further ado, let's get started.
Alright, they fixed it, I think. Alright, Swipe Lord season!
First up, the new seasonal mechanic. This season brings the Cloud Oasis, a floating island key to the Sandlord seasonal mechanic. Think of it as a management layer woven into your usual grind. You'll need funds. The main seasonal currency is floating island coins, earned by killing mobs out in the Nether Realm. You'll also run into sand pirates across the maps. Killing them gets you supplies for the Oasis. And yeah, some of those pirates might get repurposed into your workforce for the Cloud Oasis. We've set up 5 professions for these laborers: miner, crystal worker, chef, aviator, and mercenary. Assign them based on their skills to get your Oasis running. Keep an eye out for laborers with specific affixes. These modifiers can boost efficiency, cut costs, whatever. Min-maxing this system is key to optimizing your returns. Resources are key. The Oasis mine produces ingots and magic crystals automatically once you assign miners and crystal workers.
When is season 8 next?
These are used for Oasis upgrades or shipped out as
I don't know,
trade
this is
goods.
it, press
Set
it.
it up and the resources trickle in. Food production happens at the logistics scroll. Assign chefs and they turn ingredients into food, which are also trade commodities. You need ingredients for that. And while we could have implemented a harvesting system, realistically just killing sand pirates in the Nether Realm was the best implementation to drop ingredient packs. We didn't want to break the gameplay loop. Once you've got goods piled up, load the airship, assign aviators, and they'll run trade routes to other floating islands.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, I don't
Fulfill
know what he's
specific
saying because I
orders
can't
for
understand it.
guaranteed rewards. You can also overstock the shipments for a shot and extra random loot. Could be gear, fluorescent memory, or even crucial aromatic materials used for the new blending system's recipes. But we'll get to blending shortly. So basically, trading is your passive income stream. If you want something more active, assemble a mercenary squad, give them gliders, and send them on raids to hit sand pirate statues. This earns loot without spending your Oasis resources. Heads up though, raids can trigger risk events requiring your intervention, or uncover hidden
Andre, I don't know what the fuck
you
you're
need to
saying.
go grab. As you upgrade the Cloud Oasis, buildings, better laborers, efficiency boosts,
Like,
you'll
this shit is
expand
already
your
hard
trade
enough to
and raid
understand.
reach. The goal? Get to a point where the Oasis generates significant income automatically while you're out doing your main Netherrealm farming.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it was just that section. Maybe it'll be better now. Yo, I like how Torchlight. Here's their response. Sorry. Chinese editors effed up our audio mix.
What
Please bear with
happens
us.
when faith decays? When the Oracle can no longer bear divine grace?
Huh?
The
Did you
gods
watch
give
your video
grace,
first?
and their
How are you
blessings
blaming it on
become
them?
Desecration.
do you
Introducing
mean?
Thea's radical new trait, Blasphemer.
You said, nah, fuck it. We'll roll
This
with it.
new trait completely flips her usual mechanic. Instead of stacking blessings, you reduce your max blessing layers. You convert the lost blessings into desecration, which inflicts continuous additional erosion damage on foes. Initially, desecration is single target focused, but trade points let you add AoE clear by triggering chain explosions on nearby kills. Further trade point choices let you specialize. Focus all that corrupting power onto elites by making desecration only target them, significantly boosting its potency against tough foes. Or spread fear by allowing desecration to affect multiple targets, ensuring more enemies face the terrifying power she brings.
Those fingers? Yeah, she's
Now,
a
here's
guitarist.
the big payoff.
She's definitely a heavy
Zero
metal
max
guitarist.
Blasting layers and desecration transforms. Its erosion damage now scales heavily with the enemy's missing HP, basically an execute. Plus, the potential blessings you sacrificed convert directly
That's what
into
my stance
maximum
looks like.
desecration layers, greatly increasing scaling in the Blasphemer's path. Speaking of erosion damage, the entire system has seen a major overhaul this season. More on that later.
Desecration.
Next up, blending. This is a new crafting
So it's like
system
occultist
which
and
allows you to add powerful
put together.
affixes to belts. You get blending recipes and precious aromatic materials from the Sandlord seasonal mechanic. The kicker, you can add medium talents, core talents, and even specific hero trait points directly to any belt via blending affixes. Think about it. Anger Rehan could potentially add the split form trait point from Seething Silhouette onto their belt. This lets you stack resistance for huge life scaling via its imbue. That opens up the game for different build angles, like blood consumption builds that need massive life pools for life imbue.
Yeah, you see that?
This restriction, you can only use trait points from your own hero. No poaching allowed. Beyond standard talents and traits, there are also aromatic talents.
I don't know what you were saying, Andre, but I know what that did.
Aromatic
No, they
affixes.
just crafted
For
a hero
example,
trait on an item.
Ship lets your minions inherit your belt stats. Slap that on an eternity belt, and suddenly your whole minion army gets that powerful effect. You'll need to hunt down the recipes for these throughout the seasonal mechanic.
You
There's
can
over
give your
120
minion army
recipes to
the
find
eternity
through the
effect.
Sandlord seasonal mechanic. This system should offer significant power boosts early on into the game and massively increase late game build diversity. Finally, a quick note from the development team. We know that adding a lot of systems like this with each season increases the learning curve for players. So now we're basically monitoring how everything is interacting, how each different mechanic is playing with each other, and whether the learning curve for players is too large. If we find that to be so, we may consider rotating in and out different seasonal mechanics or game mechanics in upcoming seasons. Mostly to avoid player burnout. Next up, exclusive support skills. This season has a ton of brand new exclusive support skills, bringing the in-game total to over 80. The aim is for almost every core active skill in the game to have dedicated supports. Also, any future skills will launch with theirs too. Let's take a quick look at a few of the new ones. For Sparkle, equipping the support skill Magnetic Field adds chain lightning that pulls enemies towards the projectile. Marked Rain of Arrows gets Hyper Blast. If you have Fixate up, a critical strike applies a mark. It detonates after a delay, dealing percentage life damage based on the skill's total damage during that cast. Big delay burst potential on crits. Hunting Abomination is back and reworked. Its Hunting Terror now deals on-hit damage and expands. New supports. Hail Mary changes the multi-hit batter damage into one big hit. Feud ramps damage based on enemies killed. Lightning Beam. Ever feel like Lightning Beam's lightning orbs generate too slowly? Equip Aftershock, and a new lightning orb will spawn instantly when the previous one expires, ensuring constant uptime. Combine this with reverberation, and the orbs generated by aftershock won't count towards your lightning orb upper limit,
Wish I
allowing
knew what
for
you were saying,
potentially unlimited lightning orbs. Savage Charge. Tired of interrupting Savage Charge just to trigger Demolisher? The new raid support skill offers a much smoother experience. When your
Okay.
channel stacks reach the upper limit, if you also have a Demolisher charge ready, Savage Charge will automatically unleash a Demolisher effect straight ahead without players needing to stop channeling. Finally, Wilting
What
Beam
the
Reflection opens up interesting positioning options for builds. When players cast Wilting Beam, this support generates an additional beam firing in the exact opposite direction. Next up, new Legendaries. We've seen the feedback
did I
about
just
the
see?
difficulty jump around Time Arc 8. You can feel like a wall where progression stalls before you're ready for a profound time arcade. To smooth this out, we're adding new Legendary gear, some potentially tagged as matchless, specifically tuned for this part of the game. These items are designed to give you more build enabling power and options to push through that awkward phase into endgame. The Destiny system is also getting expanded this season. We've added new fates and kismets focusing on several key areas, including erosion damage, restoration skills, negative effect
Disintegration.
resistance, and projectiles, opening up even more options for player builds. For example, restoration skills that might have been overlooked in the past could find new viability thanks to some powerful kismets. Check out the Kismet Creek. It allows equipped restoration skills to gain 1 charging progress every second automatically, and it increases your movement speed while the skill is active. Imagine the potential if players manage to stack a few effects like that. It could significantly boost the uptime of your restoration skills. Or take a look at the dual Kismet Unholy Grail. This one grants players multiple layers of random blessings whenever you cast a skill, and it significantly speeds up the recovery of your restoration skills, letting you use them more often. There's also Kismet Star Trail. This one buffs all micro fates on its specific pack branch. This adds another optimization layer for players who like digging into systems interactions to maximize their setup. Next up, balance changes and core mechanics. First, let's go over hero balancing. We went over player feedback and we decided to address some traits that felt weaker in early and mid game. So let's take a quick look at some of the key changes coming this season. First, Rosa's trait High Court Chariot sees adjustments. Her early and mid game trait nodes have been strengthened for a smoother start. We've also added a new damage focused trait node, Divine Intervention, at level 60. Furthermore, the level 75 trait node Taking Risks has been completely reworked. Now, it allows players to continuously channel the trait skill. While channeling, the Holy Domain follows the player and doesn't consume Murderous Intent. Reaching the maximum number of channel stacks will also apply
RF?
corresponding stacks of no guard to all enemies within the Holy Domain, increasing the damage they take. Yoga's Space-Time Relapse gets Space-Time Upheaval at level 45 for more offense. Level 75 Space-Time Curse is replaced by Space-Time Expansion. This increases duration for Twisted Space-Time, Space-Time Turbulence, and makes enemies in Turbulence count as being in Twisted Space-Time. This fixes anti-synergy with Space-Time Pause, which lowers duration but ups damage, giving Yoga more viable setups. Next up, Commander Model. We know players want self-destruct minion builds, but I often rely heavily on activation mediums. To help, we adjusted the level 75 node Fuel War with War to auto-trigger your main skill periodically. Better gameplay feel, less reliance on activation mediums, offering a new way to manage minion detonation that balances power with convenience. Of course, this is just a sample of what's coming. Many other hero traits are
Order
getting
calling coming back,
adjusted,
chat?
whether those are minor tweaks or maybe some even more major adjustments. These are all going to be finalized and public in the upcoming Blue Bible, our patch notes, so please stay tuned for that. We're also making some additional changes, which are mostly focused on, improving how combat feels, the core gameplay, mapping, and so on and so forth. So let's take a quick look at some of those. First, we want to increase the competitiveness of builds which do not rely on auto-casting. To give players more active playstyle options, we're introducing new support skills and core affixes. For example, the support skill Willpower grants a buff that significantly increases your damage when you use a skill, but you lose all stacks on the buff if you move, rewarding stationary casting. Projectiles have also received some improvements this season. We've greatly increased the upper limit for projectile speed, which should improve the release feel and overall map clearing experience for builds using them. Additionally, the flight distance of projectiles will now be primarily affected by the projectile range attribute, rather than projectile duration.
What?
Builds using two-handed weapons are getting more dedicated support. We've added related base affixes, craft affixes, and other components. There's also a new pair of legendary gloves, Death's Touch, designed to further increase two-handed weapon damage. Players can now better develop builds focusing on two-handed weapon damage, attack speed, and critical strike.
180% additional base damage?
Attack builds and reduces the feeling that choices for core items are too limited. Next up, slower skills. While changes to the damage cap system last season helped many skills, some inherently slower skills like Lightning Storm and Hammer of Ash still struggle due to their core design. This season we've buffed their base damage to make them more viable options if you like that kind of playstyle. Next up, Erosion 2.0. Something that many of you have asked about is new mechanics for erosion damage. In previous seasons, builds focusing on erosion damage typically center around persistent or wilt effects, as direct erosion on hit damage often felt too weak. In the new season, we're introducing a core mechanic to bolster on-hit erosion, Deterioration. Deterioration is a negative status applied by erosion on hit damage. It lasts for a set duration, and when it expires, it deals a percentage of the triggering hit's erosion damage as true damage. Naturally, we've added supporting skills, talents, and gear related to deterioration. For example, players can choose builds that shorten the deterioration duration for rapid multi-stage bursts of damage, or opt to extend the duration, causing the true damage to trigger periodically throughout. For example, players can choose builds that shorten the deterioration duration for rapid, multi-stage bursts of damage, or opt to extend the duration, causing the true damage to trigger periodically throughout, with more triggers resulting in higher total damage.
Okay, so that's twice,
We
buddy.
hope these changes provide players with more viable erosion builds to explore. Explosion effects are also getting a full overhaul. We know the old effects felt a bit underwhelming for how strong explosions can be. We've redone the visuals and sound effects with unique looks and sounds for 5 different explosion types. The damage and area of effect for explosions have also been adjusted accordingly. The goal? To make explosions look and feel as impactful and satisfying as they should be, leading to a better overall map clearing experience for players who are using them. Finally, let's talk some crafting quality of life. Introducing the brand new gear imprint system. We all know the pain. You craft amazing mods onto an item, but the base has bad implicit base affixes. You know, because that's what you could afford early on. And then what? Recrafting is insanely expensive.
He's
Gear
crafting.
Imprint lets you fix this. How it works. You need your primary item with a good crafted mods but bad base, the so-called imprint material. You also need another item of the same exact base type that does have the desired base affixes, the imprint target. Finally, you need an imprint crystal, which can be purchased from the trader. Using these together, you can completely replace the base affixes of your imprint material item with superior base affixes from the imprint target item.
The fuck?
What does this mean in practice? This means players will no longer be punished for starting crafting on imperfect bases early on, and excellent base materials will always retain their high value. Hopefully, crafting should feel a lot less stressful going forward. Now let's dive into some updates for the meta round. First up, secret rounds. Starting timer 8, killing rare monsters has a low chance to spawn a portal. These are unique side areas with different mechanics and better rewards than standard maps. For example, Secret Round Abyssal Vault is just full of loot chests, no mobs. The secret round Sea of Rise has passive goblins you kill for a chance to summon a boss. There's a total of 5 types of secret rounds this season, and we're hoping that they can kind of break up the monotony of endgame grinding and add some random excitement to mapping. Now let's talk Deep Space. Deep Space is the only system which is actually undergoing a larger overhaul this season. Forget the old regions and Plane Watchers. Now there are 5 dedicated Deep Space stages. These are larger, have way higher monster density, better drops, but are significantly harder. Real survival challenges. To align with a high investment, high reward philosophy for this challenging content, we've introduced a new item type usable only in Timer 8 maps and the new Deep Space stages. Probes. You can think of them as additional map juicing. Using a probe as targeted reward affixes like November drops,
Uber Chisel.
also boosts monster life. High risk, high reward. Different probe types exist, some with chances for Easter egg events, like the Compass Deep Space Probe, potentially spawning plain washer treasure chests full of just compasses. Probes use their own slots, separate from compasses, so you can stack both if you want to push difficulty and rewards. So what about difficulty? The extra difficulty in Deep Space comes partly from ailments now affecting players. We're introducing a new category of stage mechanics specifically for Deep Space, ailments that directly affect players. Familiar mechanics like trauma, wilt, ignite, numb, and curse may not be applied to players by monsters or environmental effects within Deep Space. For example, a special ignite called Scorch also reduces all your resistances. Easier ailment mods can pop up randomly. The really nasty ones are tied to Netherrealm resonance affixes. We've added more defensive accesses to gear to help counter these. Finally, a key detail about setting up your Deep Space stages. When you open one, the pool of Netherrealm resonance affixes will start with 8 negative affixes active, and players will only have the option to reroll them. You'll need to carefully manage the difficulty you face. Next up, let's talk about the Plane Watchers. First, some big news. After long tenure guarding the Dreamless Abyss, the Goblin Lightning High Priest is finally retiring from the active roster this season. Taking his place, we welcome the return of a formidable foe, Night Slayer, the Wilting Plume. The Night Slayer presents a completely updated art style, bringing an even darker flavor to his encounters and associated scenes. Expect a distinctively different and more intense visual experience when players face him. Also, one of our goals this season was to better integrate the Plane Watcher challenges into the regular Netherrealm mapping cycle, adding more diversity to the endgame grind for players. To support this, we've increased the overall rewards from defeating Plane Watchers. However, please note that star shards obtained from them will now be non-tradable items. Also, Plane Watchers now have scaling difficulty levels. Beat one at time mark 8 to unlock the next tier. Higher tiers don't just get more stats, they also gain new combat mechanics.
Okay.
Tougher fights, much better rewards. Next up,
I'm still starving.
gameplay mechanics.
It's a whole bag of chips.
Let's discuss about some changes which might more directly affect your mapping experience. We found that the base drop experience could feel very underwhelming.
No, I'm eating. I was eating tortillas.
Very specific looting strategies. To fix this, we've adjusted the drop source for level 21 active skills. Players now have a chance to find these skills when defeating bosses in time mark 8 and higher stages.
Okay.
Additionally, Truth Ember has been changed to Truth Fossil. Players can obtain Truth Fossils in time mark 8 and above stages, and
I'm pretty sure that you do that in PoE
allows
as well,
you to
right?
randomize an FX value on an item. We noticed that players in time mark 8 sometimes struggle to access suitable compasses for certain gameplay loops, as prices were often driven up by demand from players engaging in deep space looting strategies. We noticed that players in time mark 8 sometimes struggle to access suitable compasses for certain gameplay loops, as prices were often driven up by demand from players engaging in deep space mapping strategies. To address this, we've added rare quality alternative versions for some high intensity gameplay compasses. These differ only in numerical values from their legendary quality counterparts. For example, the legendary cruising mechanical compass makes the drone quantity 3 times normal, while the rare version makes it 2 times. Also a new rule this season, only one compass of the same gameplay type can be active at a time.
So
players will need to choose the one that best suits their current goal.
Only one.
Also, to further enrich mapping strategies, we've added a batch of non-gameplay specific compasses, such as ones that increase the probability of finding trinkets among priceless gear drops. Next up, talent constellations. Several of the talent constellations have also undergone some reworks. Let's take a quick look at them. The Black Seal talent constellation has been reworked to focus on enhancing drops related to the Void Sea Bride. It now provides players with talents that increase the probability of certain Seal Whispers appearing. New boss Whispers have also been added to the Seal Whispers pool, which can increase the drop rate of Void Sea invitations. The Priceless talent constellation also offers richer options. Players can increase the drop rate of trinkets within priceless items, and even choose to prevent priceless items with only a single base affix from dropping, ensuring that dropped priceless gear always contains 2 base affixes. Getting that perfect ring with +1 blessing anchors might be closer than you think. We've also increased the effects of talent nodes related to bosses across various gameplay mechanic talent constellations. This increased benefit comes at the cost of losing some of the gameplay mechanics' other inherent rewards. For example, in the Cube talent constellation, players can increase the probability of obtaining a desired core record when drawing from the Cube of Craving.
Yeah, TLI is not for the faint of heart, for sure. It
It
has a lot of systems.
And yes, the drawing speed for the cube,
Easy to get into, though,
a
I will say.
long-term
Easy to
point
get
of
into and
contention in
play.
the community, has actually been increased this season. For the Mistville and the Frozen Canvas talent constellations, we've added special star talents related to unique drops. These give season-exclusive gameplay monsters encountered in the Netherrealm a chance to drop activation mediums and exclusive support skills. Keep in mind these drops are primarily for transitional use. The highest level skills still need to be obtained by players through the
It's good that they're making some of these
corresponding
changes,
core
right?
sources. Now, let's turn to the Supreme Showdown. The bosses on the 20th and 21st floors will rotate again this season. The 20th floor challenge will be replaced by a brand new ultra difficult encounter, Night Slayer, the Wilting Plume. Players will face a spectacular showdown beneath his wings and scythe. As for the ultimate test on the 21st floor, the Lord of the Void Sea returns with his imposing fleet. This season's Supreme Showdown also introduces a new mechanic, Golden Gaze. This effect will randomly appear in stages. Both players and bosses have a chance to be chosen by the Golden Gaze, temporarily gaining the ability to gild opponents. When possessing this power, the boss can gild units in a 360-degree area around itself, while players can gild enemies in a 180-degree cone in front of them. Gilded units cannot move or cast skills. Importantly, when the boss itself is gilded, the damage he takes is additionally increased. It's a mechanic with both risks and opportunities, requiring players to handle it carefully to turn it into an advantage in the final battle. Next up, the Arcana seasonal mechanic, the Tarot Path, is going core, so by entering the main gameplay loop, it's also being accordingly adjusted. In the new season, the number of tarot cards required to enter the Tarot Path has been increased from 15 to 30. Correspondingly, the drop quantity from the Fate chest within the Tarot Path has also been proportionally increased. This change aims to greatly reduce how frequently the tarot mechanic interrupts your Netherrealm farming, alleviating the frustration of, having to break your main gameplay loop and going into the board game. Additionally, we've added
boring
a brand
game.
new
You made it.
Netherrealm talent
You made the game. What do you mean
dedicated to
calling
the
it a
Arcana
boring
seasonal
game?
mechanic. It can specifically increase the drop probability of certain types of destinies, increase the chance for secret paths to appear, enhance the rarity of divination stakes, and even offer ways to directly feel the progress of your tarot collection. As always, we're doing our best to bring a ton of quality of life updates with each season. Let's take a quick look at some of the major ones that we're bringing with Sandlord. Our training dummy, Invisible Number 2, has received some major system upgrades. When calculating DPS, it will now display the dynamic stat changes of the player in real time. providing more accurate and reliable data for refining your builds.
That's a W.
The dummy also gains a practical utility function. Players can now toggle a visual overlay centered on the dummy to see the actual in-game range of effects tagged as nearby and proximity. Depth Analysis 2.0. The depth screen is undergoing a huge overhaul. It will now clearly show what killed you, whether it was a mob, a mechanic, or a trap. It also separates damage into on-hit versus damage over time. Details page shows damage breakdown and ailments active on death. It will now be much better for diagnosing survivability issues. Important info prompts have also been revamped this season, appearing in a new, more aesthetically pleasing and noticeable way. Players can learn about their new cells in the trade house via these prompts, and will also receive notifications from the Cloud Oasis system, like funds running low, an airship glider returning from a mission, a special event being triggered, and so on and so forth. These notifications ensure you stay informed without constant checking. Of course, players can block unwanted notification types via the settings menu. Next up, we've made several quality of life optimizations to the trade house as well. When listing items, players can now quickly fill in their desired listing price by simply clicking on a unit price shown in the price check results. When listing stackable items, the quantity for sale now defaults to the maximum stack size you have in your inventory, making selling much faster. Additionally, when searching for divinity slates, players can now specify whether an affix must be placed in the last position, making it easier to find that perfect slate. And now one last interesting adjustment. In this new season, when players are doing their daily challenge and facing the Golden Calamity or Drag, the boss will no longer be restricted by the in-game damage cap mechanic. This means players can freely test the true maximum power of their builds against him and compete for the top scores on the leaderboard using their preferred strategies.
3 trillion.
Finally, let's go over microtransactions as well as some very exciting new events that we have coming your way.
Oh god, here it goes,
First,
chat.
get ready for the Wasteland Gold Rush event. Players can earn Gold Rush attempts simply by progressing through the game. Use these attempts for a chance to win various valuable items from the event, including Jagged Primos, Battle Pack Spirit Crystals, and even the grand prize, a Torchlight commemorative gold note. And yeah, we do mean real gold. Like real life gold.
I want one.
But the events don't stop there.
I saw that bitch.
CLI is
I'll
turning
melt that bitch down.
As a thank you to all of you for staying with us, we're also launching some very special celebration events. Players can claim a nice reward each day they log in during the event period. After checking in for all 7 days, you'll receive a legendary drop Pack Spirit selection pack, allowing you to choose any legendary Pack Spirit from the Frozen Canvas season or any previous season. We also have the Hope in the Sands active event. During this event, complete quests related to the Sandlord seasonal mechanic to earn points. Accumulate enough points to unlock generous rewards, including Battle Pack Spirit Crystals, a rare drop Pack Spirit, a rare Pack Spirit upgrade insignia, an exclusive weapon appearance, and many more surprises. Check out the shop too for special anniversary exclusive packs.
Oh god, don't show me
that. Now,
that.
a quick look at some of the cosmetics coming this season.
Oh god, dude, my wallet. It's just she has a tail. No,
Finally,
my wallet.
This is new Pack Spirits. The Moon Shadow Guide is the seasonal mechanics drop Pack Spirit. It will help with Cloud Oasis management. The Portrait of a Fallen Saintess is this season's Battle Pack Spirit and is designed for synergy with Thea's new trade, Blasphemer. That was a lot. Let's have a quick recap. The new Sandlord seasonal mechanic, a new hero trait for Thea, the new blending system, new legendaries, the new gear imprint system, new exclusive support skills, hero balancing changes, improvements to core gameplay mechanics, secret realms, adjustments to deep space, tons of quality of life, our second anniversary events, and so much more. Sandlord is right around the corner, coming April 17. Stay tuned for more news. That's all for today, and we'll catch you all in the next one.
Okay. Show some gameplay. Show me my girl. Hey guys. TL Gold 0418. Sure. All right, April 17th at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm going to be asleep. Yo, I ain't going to lie, chat. I'm going to be asleep at that time. Most likely. There's a small chance that I will pop a bunch of, like, I don't know, sleep aids at like 11 a.m. and try and take a nap for a few hours. We'll see what happens. We'll see what, but I feel like after a week, I'm going to be going to bed at like that time. What does that code do for us? It gets you some in-game chemo crystal to be able to go for some pets. You can get some pets and stuff in the game. All right. Let's see what the boys had to say. Let's see what the boys have to say here. It's over for Last Epoch. TLI won the ARPG wars. Last Epoch, here I come. Ellie will disappoint like always. World of Warcraft. Mommy? Chalk? Yo, can you get chalk? I don't think you can. Ellie sucks. Their endgame is so ass. Nope. Excuse me. Tell him, Chris. Last Epoch will have server issues anyway. Why the hell would you play Last Epoch? I don't know, chat. I mean, they're obviously watching a Torchlight stream, so like that might sway the public opinion. The season looks super cool. I'll be honest with you, I couldn't even understand what the hell the season mechanic was. It's settlers. That's all I know. I'm gonna have to go watch the Chinese version or something. Settlers? I didn't like Settlers League. Maybe I'll like Settlers League and Torchlight. Maybe it's less Settlers and more Blast. Settlers and Pirates in the Sand. This is China, okay? Anything can happen with dragon tail ladies. I mean, it literally is. Not fair. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like XD Games generally has, again, this is generally, has a better grasp on creating their season mechanics with QOL. I understand the last season there was like a color problem, but their season mechanics are generally like pretty on par with, for the most part, with like QOL and stuff. So like I'm not super worried about them doing like a settlers town building simulator thing, right? I'm not too concerned because they've proven in the past that they understand that, you know, people do want some QOL. So they usually deliver on that side. Not too worried about that. 10 years of PUB and they cannot give us a death recap. TLI does it after a few seasons. Well, they've had it for a long time. Now they just have a more in-depth one. At least Last Epoch doesn't have pay to win garbage. You actually have to buy Last Epoch, so it's pay to win by default. True. Also, Yoga seems to be bugged. For sure they nerfed Yoga. Yoga. Alright. See if we can find patch notes. Get some music up. Wait. Oh, wait. There's another. I forgot. There's another one today.
Vampire if you want.
Oh, no. There was another one. This one. I care more about this. Wait, what the?
That's pretty cool.
Why are you a ghoul? What is happening?